The latest CSGO update had one small change that has had many consequences. That is, you can drop nades now. There are numerous undocumented changes and mechanics that have come along with that, and that's what this video is about. So you can drop nades now. This is a lot of fun with infinite flashbangs, but it does have some real uses. For instance, you don't need to wait until buy time ends to toss a grenade you don't want away. You can just drop it during freeze time. The amount of nades you can carry has not changed. You can hold 1 HE, smoke, and decoy. You can hold 2 flashbangs, and you can hold 1 of the fire grenades, the Molotov or the incendiary. In the past, you could actually buy more than 2 flashes each round as long as you had enough money, it was still buy time, and you didn't already have 2 flashes. With a new update, grenades that have carried over from the previous round basically count as if you bought them this round. For instance, you cannot carry over a smoke, drop it, and buy a new smoke. The smoke you carried over from the previous round prevents you from doing this. Also, you can no longer buy more than 2 flashbangs. Finally, carrying over either fire grenade prevents you from buying a new fire grenade. It doesn't matter which one you carried over or which one you can buy. So for instance, as a T, if you carried over an incendiary and want to buy a Molotov, you simply can't do it, even if you drop the incendiary. Hopefully the devs change this in the future, but there's no error message of any kind shown when you try and buy a grenade that you're not able to. Dropping your nades will make a sound that is mostly based off the nade being dropped, not the surface it's being dropped on. Let's listen. The Molotov makes an obvious glass noise, but the other nades are pretty much indistinguishable. The surface the nade is being dropped on does not seem to matter much during testing, and the sound is much different than a nade being thrown. Just as a quick review, here's the sound nades make when thrown. The incendiary is on fire and makes light tink noises. Molotov is on fire and makes glass noises. HE makes deep thunk noises. Flash makes light tink noises. Smoke makes deeper tink noises. And the decoy basically sounds identical to a flash when bouncing off walls. And remember, that's being thrown and not being dropped. The sound of a nade being dropped is really faint. Let's listen as it gets further away. So the drop sound became impossible to hear by the time that player got to the car area. Not really that far away. So don't worry too much about the sound dropping a nade makes unless you think enemies are really close by. If you drop a primed Molotov, it will stay lit. However, this is only client side. Your teammates and enemies do not see a lit Molotov. This next part requires some context. So here are some mechanics that did not change with the new patch. First, enemies cannot hear you prime nades. That's when you click and hold down your mouse button. Next, enemies can hear a primed Molotov. They cannot hear the action of priming it, they can hear if it's on fire. Lastly, enemies can hear a nade being thrown. Since we can drop nades now, this leads to some interesting mechanics. First, you can drop a nade while it's primed. Right click or left click, they both work. You can cancel the grenade throwing animation by dropping it. And finally, enemies will hear the sound of you throwing a grenade, even if you cancel the actual throw by dropping it instead. This is best demonstrated by video. This first drop is without canceling the throw animation, and the second drop does cancel the throw. Can you hear the difference? Did you hear it? Let's listen again. Making that sound is done by letting go of mouse 1 and then quickly pressing your drop key, usually G, before you actually throw the nade. And this works with both mouse 1 and mouse 2. As with most new features, there's a bug introduced with this one. If you drop a flashbang while it's primed, letting go of the mouse after dropping the flash will instantly throw a second flash if you have one. This seems to be an unintentional side effect, so I'd expect the developers to fix it soon, but just know that people can do this now. There are many potential uses in-game for this new mechanic. Nard here has a great video going over lots of them, which will be linked in the description. For example, one use could be dropping your nades before going into a risky engagement like this one. That way, your teammates will be able to pick up all of your utility, even if you die, rather than just the one that drops when you die. So here's a bind that will let you quickly throw your nades, which is what I used to make the previous clip. If you don't have a nade in your inventory, it will drop whatever weapon you're holding, so be careful. Quick question for you. If you die while you have nades in your inventory, which one drops? Answer in the comments and I'll let you know if you're right. The same bind can be used to throw a fake flash. The HE has a higher priority than the flash, so it works best if you don't have that nade in your inventory. Of course, you can always switch to a flash and drop it rather than using the bind. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, join the Discord in the description or post a comment under the video. PureSkill.gg is an automated AI-powered coach for CSGO. The coach breaks down your gameplay into different assessments and gives you a prioritized list of things to work on, with resources to help fix things and details about what happened in that match. While the coach isn't looking at anything related to dropping nades, as shown here, the coach may do so in the future. You can use the service for free at PureSkill.gg.